guys, welcome to the What's Good podcast. Today will be our first ever episode. My name is Isaac Yap and I'll be your host for today. Today we have a very special guest. Let's have him introduce himself.
Hi everybody, I'm Ryan Chung and I'm a senior marketing for Mojang. I have worked there for 4 years now and I'm excited to be here.
Now, today we are going to be discussing factors of video games. In the recent years, the interest of video games within Gen Zs has spiked greatly. Many of us play and enjoy video games, but do we know about other factors on video games? For example, what are video games? Who are the targeted audience by video games making industries? How well are the industries that make video games doing? Let's hear your words, Ryan.
Okay, so for the very beginning, I think we first have to tackle the question of what are video games? Video games are any interactive games or sports that take place digitally. This can be interactive TV shows, digital card games, RPG games, and more.
So, who are the targeted audience by video game making industries?
While video games can be enjoyed by people of different ages, it is typically aimed at more younger audiences such as Gen Z and the millennials. For some games, it's more obvious who it's aimed towards, such as games about unicorns being aimed at young girls. But due to the diversity of games, there really are video games for anyone. Some games such as Minecraft can be enjoyed by everybody as well.
Okay, so how well are the industries that make video games doing? Like, have they been making profit or have they been making loss?
With online games such as Clash Royale and Fortnite that only come to be in the modern era, and with the fact that having electronic devices are more common nowadays, it's obvious to say that video game industries have been doing particularly well. Simple video games that you may play on your phone is a good way to entertain both yourself and your children for some time. And so a lot of people have begun playing more games.
I see. Now, many people think that video games cause problems when they are being played too much. What are these problems?
So while obviously video games have many benefits, there are some issues when young children are placed in front of a screen for all day long. It's easy for young children to become addicted to video games, and that might affect their social skills and mental health.
I see. We'll definitely take note of this. Now,
Go.
many people, including myself, play a lot of video games, but we have yet to know about the origins of it or them. The history of video games is just as interesting as when we play the video games. Now, Ryan, you have been studying video games for about 4 years now. Why don't you share about how video games came about?
Yes, okay. So first up again is the simple question of what was the first video games? First video game. Although it is thought to be the first proper video game, there has been debates on whether earlier creations technically count as video games. But most people agree that the first ever video game was a game called Pong. It's a very simple tennis game, and I think many of us have had played a version of this in our childhood.
So, what year did this Pong game come out?
It came out on October of 1985.
So, who was this genius who had the idea of making this game?
The person who invented the first ever video game was actually a physicist who who was named William Higginbotham.
I'm pretty sure when this game came out, everyone was so fascinated about it because it was the first ever video game. So how well did its business do?
Well, since it was the first ever proper video game, it was certainly an extremely large attraction. Many people would come from all around to play it.
Wow, I too love to try this Pong game. So I'm pretty sure when this game came out, you couldn't find it like randomly on the streets or randomly anywhere. So where specifically could you play this game?
Yeah, you're right about the fact that back then you can't just play video games on your phone or the Xbox. Instead, this video game was placed in Brookhaven National Laboratory, where it was an extremely large tourist attraction, as previously said.
I see. Maybe you want to add on a bit of do you have any other words to share?
No, I think this game is rather self-explanatory, but I certainly think we can all take to learn from it. It's an extremely fun and simple game, and nowadays many games are way too complicated for young children, and this game is a good example of a simple game.
Okay. Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure that we all have heard of the debate between Gen Ys and Gen Zs. If you haven't, then I guess you're living on the wrong planet. Um, so the debate between Gen Ys and Gen Zs are on whether video games are beneficial. Personally, I side the Gen Zs. Aside from the fact that I am a Gen Z, I also believe that playing video games do bring many benefits to our daily lives, such as relieving stress, improving our hand-eye coordination, and our reaction speed, etc. So, what are your thoughts on this matter, Ryan?
So while there are many people, more likely the older generation, that might believe that video games, specifically shooter games such as Overwatch or Call of Duty, can promote violence among teenagers, which leads to the rise of crime and violent shootings, apart from them saying it's a waste of time. There simply aren't enough evidence to prove that these type of games can lead to the rise of crime. Many video games are simply a fun way to interact with your friends and relax amongst this chaotic world. Games such as Animal Crossing and other peaceful games where you have to take care of and improve your village can be soothing for many people. Other games may involve doing repetitive tasks, which allows the player to fall into a zone and de-stress.
I 100% agree with this point.
Finally, there are many games that involve strategy or skills for you to excel, where you have to train your mind to be sharper. Examples of this kind of game may be Tetris or League of Legends. YouTuber MatPat on the channel Game Theory actually created an excellent video regarding this topic.
Yes, as I said before, video games do indeed bring many benefits to us. Now, as we all know, there's been a virus going around the world by the name of COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus. Almost every country has undergone lockdown, whereby citizens are meant to stay at home and not go out to avoid the spread of this virus. In this period of time, I believe, the number of people who play video games has increased amazingly due to the amount of extra time they are spending at home. Do you agree with this statement, Ryan?
During this COVID-19 pandemic, with everybody stuck inside without anything to do, I think it is true that many have turned to video games to cure their boredom. So I have to say that I agree wholeheartedly with this statement. The game Among Us is a great example of this, as it had a large rise in popularity, as many friends were playing it as a way to interact while in their own homes. Personally, I started playing more games such as Pokemon during the MCO.
I see. Now, Ryan, you have been talking a lot about other games such as Among Us and Pokemon, but how about your company's game, Minecraft? How well has it been doing?
In the recent years, Minecraft has actually had a large rise in sale. In 2017, they had a total sales of 122 million, compared to 2018 where they had 154 million in total sales. That's a 21% increase. Jumping forward to 2020, it now has 200 million in total sales. That's a 12% increase from 2019, where they had 176 million. And in total, since 2017, there has been a 39% increase. Needless to say, this is extremely large, and Minecraft has been doing extremely well lately.
Wow, I bet the owner of Mojang must be enjoying himself on yachts and parties, eh?
Well, he would be doing that if it weren't for the pandemic.
Ha ha ha, yes. Nowadays, some, not all, video games require the person to pay a certain amount of money in order for him or her to access the game. In other cases, some games have an in-game shop where players can customize and buy cool items, for example, skins, weapons, gifts, etc. Like your company's game, Ryan, Minecraft. I'm pretty sure you need to pay a fair share of money to be able to play the game. How much do you have to pay?
Well, of course, you have to pay for Minecraft. In fact, you have to pay 26 US dollars to buy the game. But we at Mojang have been trying to keep the price down recently so that more people are able to try it out.
I see. And if we were to judge based on the number of people who play the game Minecraft, we can say that the amount of money that people nowadays, not just kids, everyone in general, spend nowadays has increased since the past. Do you agree on this statement, Ryan?
Yeah, I agree. The money that people spend on video games in the recent years is certainly much more than in the past. In the modern times, it's common for people to spend money on entertainment such as movies, games, and more. Putting a price on your game is just a good way for the developers and the creators to earn money, as they have spent a lot of money and time to create this game for the public. Yet, I feel that many people shy away from these games as they feel that it's a waste of money.
So still sticking to this factor, do you think that spending money on games or items in-game are worth it? Personally, I do buy some items from the in-game shops, and I have to admit, I do not regret it at all. As so long as I do not spend too much, I'm fine with it. What are your thoughts, Ryan?
As I've previously said, many people believe that spending money on video games is a waste of money and that it's not real, so you shouldn't buy things. But I personally believe that this is a great way for creators to lower the price of the games while still having a way to earn income and create more games. For invested players who play a lot of the games, I feel that it isn't a waste of money. They play the game very often, and a small price may bring them joy, such as seeing your character have a cool exclusive skin or being able to use a special skill.
Great thinking. Now, to conclude this session, many kids in this modern era dream to grow up and be a professional gamer or work for a famous and well-known game making industry. Why not tell them what it's like to work in a game making industry, and what advice would you give to those who have this specific dream?
Well, for me, working in the game making industry is indeed extremely fun. Being able to study games as a job and being involved in the making of great games is such an amazing experience. For the kids listening who are interested in working in the gaming industry, I would just say don't give up on your dream. When applying for jobs in these gaming industry companies, try to be creative and think out of the box. Companies are always looking for fresh and new ideas for their games.
You heard that, kids. Remember the advice that Ryan gave. And that's it for our first episode of our What's Good podcast, guys. Be sure to hit like, subscribe, and comment on what we should do next. Anything you want to say, Ryan, before we sign off?
Yeah, I just want to say that it's been a extremely fun experience recording this, and I hope all of you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned and make sure to subscribe for the next episode.
See you guys. Take care. Peace.